It's now time for Around Town on KWN Community TV Channel 7. The views and opinions on tonight's program are not necessarily those of the staff nor the management of KWN TV 7 and Dade County Broadcasting Incorporated. Now, let's go Around Town on KWN TV 7. Well, good day, everyone. Welcome into Around Town here on KWN
And it's not
TV.
Ann and Monda.
No, I'm Evan Stone.
And I'm gonna withhold till the show's over. I'm Robert Goff, and
Or
I'm
Kamish
here.
by
I'm
some
here.
people.
Kamish, yeah, and a lot worse by some people too. But anyway, that's a whole other story for another day.
Well, thanks a lot for helping co-host today. Got a good show lined up for you today. We're going to be talking with another one of your fellow commissioners.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
good talk.
He don't weigh as much as he did the last time he was by, though. He lost weight.
Well, he actually did have an injury over the last few days. We wanted to have him come on. We're talking about Commissioner Bradford, and have him come on and talk about a couple of things. Obviously, the injury he had, and also recently they had a tire collection day, and we'll talk about that coming up. But I'll have to tell you something. You'll get a kick out of this. This morning on the classifieds, a gentleman calls up and he says, "I want to put a birthday on." Okay, and he said, "That Bradford." And he said, "Make sure that Bradford. He's a fine man." And I said, well, what's his first name? I said, in Dade County, you can't just
That's
say
right, no.
Bradford. He's a fine
Must be
man.
Johnny. It had to be Johnny.
It was.
Okay. That I can deal with.
He said to Bradford at the Bank of Dade.
Okay. Well, he's right.
I said, here in Dade County, you just can't say Bradford. It's just not a.
My Lord, what if he'd have said Melvin?
But I thought that was funny. But anyway, it was Judge Bradford's birthday.
Well, happy
I
birthday.
still call him Judge.
Well, yeah.
He was a judge for a long time.
Yeah, for a long time.
And
Then he went into money.
Yeah.
Now he's retired and works when if and when he wants
Well,
to.
they
That's
want
the
him
way it
to
should
work
be.
a whole lot more than he does.
Well, that ain't the way you do it. I can tell you. You retire, you retire.
They haven't called you back at the brown truck yet, have they?
The first couple of years, they wanted me to come work Christmas, and I said, no.
Well, let me think.
Yeah.
No, I won't be there.
And several years, they wanted me to come and, work, not so much delivering, but working with coordinating drivers and their helpers, and nope. So almost 12 years, I hadn't done that.
So,
And I've
how
made it
long were you with them?
30.
So
30 years.
For 30 years, you were a team player, but after that, thought that was good enough.
Well, it's an awful long way back up there now. It wasn't too far when I had to go. But
Well,
no,
that is
I
true.
just Christmas was one of the reasons you want to get out of that business. So I go back at the worst time of year. But
Well,
it was flattering to be asked.
The only thing that I've ever wanted to really ask, why shorts when it's 20 below zero?
Well, I'll tell you what I used to tell the guys, Evan, because when we got to wear them, you just make us all look stupid. But
So you felt the same way.
Some of those guys you see are in the mall and different places, they're not out. But I did used to tell them, I said, if some of them out in the country, rural routes, I say, you get out there and break down, you're going to wish you had some clothes on. At least take them with you. But now some of them, it's that calendar person image, I guess.
I guess so. I always thought that was very unusual.
Mine look, my legs, and I
because the
wore
FedEx people, I never seen them in shorts. It was just the
There you
brown
go.
truck.
I'm not going to say they're smarter, but of course then maybe they don't have the legs for it. I look like Colonel Sanders on a bad day when I wore them. But I actually got called in one time. I got a complaint called to Nashville because I did wear shorts by a guy kind of like you. He run a little TV radio station in Jasper at the time, and he would have people come on, and it was a religious broadcasting place. And I was in there every day, and I walked in, and I delivered. I noticed that day he never give me the time of day or said howdy do. And I put his package down, and I said howdy do and walked out. And the next day, I had a complaint called into Nashville that I better never come in his place of business with shorts on again.
Well, I'll be.
Now, I didn't know my legs was that ugly. But, no, that's a true story. It got all over Jasper in a hurry, and, boy, they'd give me, every time I'd go in, I'd get the up and down look at them legs. But well, that's water under the bridge way back yonder.
I heard that. And I bet he didn't know that you were a pastor or a preacher, former pastor and a preacher.
And I don't know how far we go with this story, but I want to tell you something, Evan. If I had not have been a Christian, and that was the idea of a Christian, I may have never become one, if you understand what I mean.
Oh, yeah, I understand.
God, it was no love at all. I mean, never come back in. So if I'm too bad to come in with a pair of shorts, I obviously would be too bad to go anywhere else, so. But that's a true story, and Jasper laughed about it real big.
Well, I think I remember you telling me about that before. But so you've been retired 12 years?
Yeah, 12 and a half in December.
From your
retired
full-time
June.
job. Obviously,
yeah, June will be 13 years. Yeah.
A lot of folks think politicians is not a job, but I guess technically it is.
Yes, it is. I mean, it's there's a lot to do. It's enjoyable. I really enjoy it. I'm in my 10th year, and I've enjoyed all of it. There's days it wasn't as good as other days. Obviously, you know how that works. But it's been I think a fun thing in a lot of ways, and I really enjoy doing it. I'm here just like Alan. When Alan retired, he kind of semi-retired and quit hooking up stoves and stuff like that. Then he's around a little more often, but it's enjoyable, and you're in a position where you can at least answer questions.
And you can come host a TV show.
I can be here, yeah, and boy, the bucks I make here.
I understand.
Yeah,
I understand.
I would like to have a Crystal or maybe a taco or something someday. I even enjoy this, believe it or not. It's just I can't.
Well, I mean, it's good to be able to get the information out and talk to the folks. Of course, we will talk with Commissioner Bradford coming up here in a few minutes, and then at the end, about halfway through the program, we've got Dade County School Superintendent Dr. Jan Harris is supposed to be with us, and going to be talking about the resolution that was passed by the Board of Education last week, would be a week ago now, about the resolution on the to amend the 65 and 5 exemption that's now available to everyone. So we'll be talking with her. She'll kind of give you, there's always at any time, and of course, obviously, you being on the commission, y'all have been privy to this type of stuff. You'll talk about one thing, and then 3 days later, it has grown to completely something that you never said or never put out there.
Right.
So hopefully some of the things that are out there on this resolution that you may or may not have heard, she'll be able to kind of give you the facts. And that's really what you always want to do.
My advice for that is to call the school board members or call Dr. Harris and not take the neighbor or the guy behind the computer somewhere. Not that all of it's fake news, but ask. Evan, a lot of people just won't take time to really ask. They think what somebody else heard has got an axe to grind or bitter or whatever, and that becomes all they know about it, so it must be that way. But it's the same way with the commission or school board, boards, in the county, the water board or board of elections. If you've got a question, they're there. Call them and ask them. And it saves a lot of headache for a lot of people, and it's the way you get things done and the way you get answers. And if you're not going to believe them, at least call and ask them so you can say, I don't believe it. But give them a chance to answer the question instead of somebody else that was no closer to it than you were,
Well, she's going to be on, and we'll get her to break down that resolution that the school board passed and the process that will be coming to the voters of Dade County over the next couple of years. The ultimate goal in any type of amendment to a resolution or amendment to something that's already a law has to go before the voters.
Right.
And so we have the final say whether we want something to be altered, changed, or done away with.
Absolutely.
But there is a process.
And there's plenty of time between now and another election that will be put on whatever ballot, whether it's put on a primary or whatever ballot they may choose to put it on. there's plenty of time to get the facts and ask the questions and know instead of, at least they've done it. It came up a few years ago, but it came up like right before legislative session and wanting it done like right now. And this gives it plenty of time for people to make I guess an informed decision when they go to the poll.
Well,
However they feel
and
about
really
it.
that's what we should do every time.
Yes.
Be an informed electorate. I think when we go to the polls, when we know. Anyway, we appreciate Dr. Harris. She'll be on with us towards the end of this program here on Around Town. But before we take our first break and we bring up our commissioner, one of the other commissioners,
We'll wake him up.
is I want to talk to you. KWN, along with News 12 and WFLI, and Cody, if you can put that up there, have been collecting heart-shaped boxes of candy to share our hearts with the heroes here in the Tennessee Valley. Now, we've got some great sponsors like Mountain View Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram and Ringgold, all three of the area, Chattanooga area, Guthrie's locations, and Real Living Southern Realty, and we're collecting heart-shaped boxes of candy. This coming Valentine's Day, which is Thursday, we're going to be distributing those. We've got a distribution event that's going to be at Mountain View Chrysler Dodge there in Ringgold, and we're going to be giving hearts to all of our hardworking police officers, our firefighters, EMTs, paramedics, and dispatchers that are really the unsung heroes here in the Tennessee Valley. So we ask you to share your heart with a hero. We've got a secure website that you can go on. You can go to WFLI's website, WFLIonline.com. You can see on the right-hand side it's got a place where you can donate money. All the money that you donate will be to buy heart-shaped boxes of candy. And you can buy a lot because, these boxes, we've had folks buy these big 24-inch heart-shaped boxes of candy, and then we've had folks come in and buy dozens and cases of the dollar boxes.
Smaller ones.
It's just a gesture of appreciation and support to our hardworking medical and law enforcement and firemen out there.
Well, very deserving.
Share Your Heart with a Hero campaign that's going on this week. Thursday will be the culmination of it at Mountain View Chrysler Dodge Jeep, and there'll be an event. Matter of fact, if you want to see that event unfold, our television partners at News 12 will be doing their live newscast at Mountain View Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram this coming Thursday at 12 noon.
If they were bringing candy, when would it have
Okay,
to be?
you need to do so in the next couple of days. If you're watching live here on Monday, you can drop those off at Guthrie's here in the city of Trenton, or Real Living Southern Realty across from CVS Pharmacy. And we've had even a few drop by the station here, but keep in mind there may be times there's not somebody here during business hours all day long. Most of the time they are, but get them to us. And we've got a couple more live remotes. We did a live remote this past Friday morning at Food City here in Trenton. We've got two more at area Walmarts in Chattanooga. I will be at the Walmart at Hamilton Place on Tuesday afternoon from 3 to 6, and the Lookout Valley Walmart on Wednesday afternoon from 3 to 6. And you'd be surprised, Commish, the number of people, even if you don't have time, they've been driving up, giving us $20, giving us $10, go in there and buy hearts, and just handing you money out the window for us to be able to go. And we go inside. One of the reasons we had them, like at the Walmarts in the greater Chattanooga area, obviously they've got plenty of them on
Shelves full of candy.
shelves full, so you can either go in as you do your shopping, come back out, and lots of people have done that, and they did that here at Food City in the city of Trenton. Share your heart with a hero, and we thank you if you've already done that, and you got plenty of time between now and Wednesday afternoon to get us a heart-shaped box. Like I say, they're $1 a piece in a lot of places, the small ones, or you can get whatever size you want or as many as you want. So we'd love to share your heart with a hero. All right, we're going to take our first break around town. Coming up, we'll have one of the commissioners. We got Commissioner Bradford from Dade County. He'll be on the way and be on the show next after this.
Come enjoy pizza for lunch or dinner in a family-friendly atmosphere at Stevie B's Pizza in Fort Payne. Enjoy the buffet and salad bar anytime or have a specialty pizza made to order. At Stevie B's, take advantage of Two-Stamp Tuesday for adult and senior buffets and Thirsty Thursdays when drinks are free after 4 p.m. Take out any medium pizza weekdays between 2 and 5 for just $4.49. And on the weekends, take out any 2 large pizzas just $14.99. Book your parties now by calling Stevie B's at 256-979-1234. Stevie B's Pizza, 2200 Galt Avenue North, Fort Payne.
Innovation and quality. 2 things you don't normally hear about in a recruitment ad, but you'll hear a lot about innovation and quality when you join the team at Vanguard National Trailer. Vanguard is an industry leader in the production of dry van trailers and composite plate trailers.
And right now, Vanguard National Trailer is hiring energetic and hardworking team members to be assemblers and welders, as well as industrial maintenance for first shift openings.
And you'll work a full 40-hour week in 4 days, which means 3-day weekends. And overtime is available. Working at Vanguard National Trailer has other great benefits too, like paid holidays, paid vacation, medical, dental, vision, and life insurance, plus a 401k plan.
Full-time work, 3-day weekends, available overtime, and great benefits. That's Vanguard National Trailer.
Fill out your application today. Vanguard National Trailer is an equal opportunity employer.
Apply in person today. Starting pay $10 to $14 an hour, depending on position. Vanguard National Trailer Corporation, Highway 11 North, turn beside the Primary Healthcare Center on Vanguard Drive.
Landers McLarty Ford of Fort Payne is your destination for quality automobile service. Landers McLarty is second to none when it comes to service on your vehicle. You can drop by and see us on Glen Boulevard Southwest in Fort Payne. Call our service department at 256-845-1101 or schedule an appointment online at LandersMcLartyFordFortPayne.com. So whether you drive a Ford or any other make of car, SUV, or truck, see our ASE certified and Ford factory trained technicians today at Landers McLarty Ford in Fort Payne.
The Moore family name has built a legacy of trust, compassion, and peace of mind by standing with families during time of loss. Now in our 70th year, the Moore family commitment grows even stronger, from affordable, traditional services to cremation. Our experienced staff stands ready to follow through on you and your family's wishes. Since 1945, the Moore family of funeral homes, North Sand Mountain and Trenton, always dedicated to those we serve.
Welcome in to another edition of Around Town. We welcome to the set with us Dade County Commissioner Bradford.
The man, the myth, and the legend.
not the Bank of Dade Bradford.
No.
But I just thought that was funny. I know you heard that this morning.
I heard
they
that,
said, I want to say happy birthday to Mr. Bradford. And I said, okay, which one?
That took him out right there. Somebody to call him Mr. But
Oh, see, I had to go 1,500 miles to get a wife that wasn't Bradford related.
There you go. Well, yeah, you went to Colorado,
wife
didn't you?
from Colorado. Yeah, from
way up in the Rockies.
Yeah, there you go. Well, first of all, there's a couple of things, but how are you? And kind of explain what's happened to you over the last few days.
Well, I had an accident last Saturday. My daughter wanted me to build a picture frame. And so I was out in the garage, had my table saw, and I've used it hundreds of times. I can't tell you how many times I've used it. And I don't really know what happened. I was cutting, and next thing I knew, I felt a pain, and then I saw my finger go through the air and had cut the end of my finger off. So the only thing I could really think about was finding that piece of the finger to maybe have it sewed back on. And I did find it, and I took it to the hospital with me, but it was just too messed up to be sewn back on. And I done pretty good that day, but that night I started having a lot of pain. Then I went back to another hospital, and they gave me some pain medication for it. Then sewed it up. But I'm doing pretty good right now, but they were more concerned because me being a diabetic, what would happen to my finger if I waited 2 or 3 days to have it done. So I went back to Erlanger, and they did get it all sewed up. And I feel pretty good. I haven't taken any pain medicine in a couple of days. It's a little different because everything you touch is on that finger. It seems like it hits everything. But I feel pretty good. I'm not
I
having
know
a
that
lot
there
of
was a
problems.
lot of things that were put out on social media about, prayers for the Bradfords and that type of thing. So we wanted you to come on, kind of explain that, and
Well, I'm very thankful for my church. I'm very thankful for all the prayers that people prayed because it's really healing really quick. And I've got an appointment Wednesday, and I think at that time they're going to take the stitches out of it. And it looks really good, and everything's looking fine. I was just at the doctor yesterday or day before yesterday, and so everything's looking pretty good right now. So I'll just be a little bit short of one finger, but other than that, I guess I'll make it. So
Well, all right. Well, that is.
You
that-
really can't high five anybody.
have to be high 4 now.
High four and high. No, I tell you what, Alan, I told you this the other day. I've got a power saw and skill saw, and the one saw that scares me worse than any that I use or have ever used is a table saw. There's just something about that sound, and you're always close to it. It seems like, and you don't get to touch it and see if it's running, because it. But I'm glad it wasn't worse.
Well,
I really
depending
am.
on how the blade, it will pull you in.
Yeah.
Depending on how the blade's running, and it'll pull whatever you got. I mean, it's designed to do that.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
Feed it-
designed to help
feed
you
it into
feed it.
It
And
could have been much worse, and I'm glad, really
yeah.
thankful it wasn't for
The
you.
doctor told me that he said it's very unusual to see somebody just one finger cut on table saw. He said they usually cut 2 or 3, and I haven't even gone out in the garage to look to see what happened. I haven't got it all figured out yet, but next day or so I'm gonna get out and try to find out what I've done. But it's like you said, it pulled it. You get that on there and it's actually pulling you. And I might have looked around at something. I don't know what I've done. I just know that it happened. And fortunately, I didn't bleed very much at all. They said what happened, the blade had been so hot from using it prior to
Kinda
that.
cauterized it,
Kind of
yeah.
cauterized the veins. I did get a couple of nerves, which caused all the
I
problems.
tell you what, you can find out if anybody's never had end of a finger like that done, is you realize that night how many times a minute your heart beats,
Yeah, you feel
because
it.
you feel that throb every time
Yeah.
it does. Man, it's
Yeah, I had to
just,
keep putting it on my chest because I kept feeling
you're
just
trying to get it above the heart.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm doing pretty good. I feel good, and I thank everyone for your prayers. And it was kind of a dumb mistake on my part, even though I've used it many, many times. I just undoubtedly wasn't paying attention.
The other thing we wanted to be able to ask you just recently, now each one of the commissioners doesn't necessarily have a complete job. Y'all kind of assign different departments
yeah.
over each. I know
Kind of
your
reporting,
commissioner-
yeah. Reporting on
You're
it.
over kind of legislature, that goes on at the state level, Mr. Goff. But you have always kind of been on the
Transfer station.
transfer
Yeah.
station. And just recently, you may have noticed there was a bunch of folks down there taking off tires, and there was a tire. Was an amnesty
Tire
day.
amnesty day.
Okay, tell us a little bit about it, and a couple of questions like where did the tires go, and why do we have to get rid of tires?
Well, you have Western Nile problems now with mosquitoes, and that's a home for mosquitoes. But I started this probably a little over a year ago. It took a long time to get all the paperwork done. Once we got the grant enforced, and I was able to set up the days and the times to do this tire amnesty, and at that time, I checked with other counties how many tires they allowed each individual to bring. And Walker County, when they had theirs, is 25 tires per person, so they have about 60,000 people, so we went with 20 tires with 17,000 people in our county. We had people that picked up tires everywhere. We had a lady in Piney that picked up probably 70 or 80 tires for elderly people, and she had their names and stuff, and she said you can call them. Bless her heart, she'd go and drop off 20 and then have to go get back in line, which took about an hour and a half to get back until she got all 80 tires off of the vehicle, because I didn't think it was right for her to come in there and take off 80 tires at one time while somebody else was waiting in line with 20. And then, John Huffman went out and picked up tires for old people and brought them in, and they had a place where they changed tires over here on the side of the road and let people bring in, because you can't have wheels. But it cleans up the area, gets all the old tires out. And why somebody has that many tires in their yard, I really don't understand why they would want those old tires like that. Now, if you take them into the transfer station, it costs anywhere from $275 to $675 to dispose of each tire.
Depending on how big they are, right?
Depending on the size. And this time we're only able to take car and small pickup tires. We couldn't do any tractor tires, couldn't do any motorcycle tires. Now, the reason for that, I really can't answer that.
I guess it was because of the type of grant.
Well,
I guess.
no,
the
what it
grant.
was is I found out later after I called. It's the way they cut them up. Liberty is the one that hauled them off, and they take care of the tires, and they just don't take them and put them in a dump somewhere. They take them and cut them all up, and they have these machines that take out all the metal, and they use these tires in landscaping. They can dye them. It's red, black, blue, and purple, I think.
Like a mulch, kinda like a mulch,
yeah. And you can buy those in different colors, but the reason people don't buy it, it's pretty expensive compared to just regular mulch. and then they used an asphalt. And that's they were all used for a good purpose, and also helped the county get everything cleaned up. And once just all the paperwork's in, which we're working on now, trying to get it all finished up, we've got to wait all the bills come in. I'm going to file for another amnesty. I've already talked to them in Atlanta about doing another amnesty. They said that'd be great. So we'll have another one this year. I don't know when or what time, but I think it done really great. Most of the people were very decent. We had 2,950 tires. That don't sound like a lot, but that's a lot of tires when you count them all.
I think we may. Do we have a picture of folks in line there, Cody?
And then we took in 2,950 tires that day.
There you go.
Yeah.
There's a big long waiting bunch of trucks full of tires.
At one time, it went all the way to the bank. The boys had. I used the trustees, and I had 4 of them. They worked great. Finally, an individual came in. He said, "Have these guys ate?" And I said, "No, they haven't ate. We haven't had time to stop." And so anyway, Danny Blevins is one that done an ex-trooper. He went up and got them all a hamburger, and they sit down for about 15 minutes to eat. And while they were eating, the cars lined up all the way to the Bank of Dade. I mean, that's how many vehicles were there. But we had 225 vehicles that went through that day.
Now, as commissioners, y'all would know this. There's actually been some problems with folks basically letting people dump tires on their property, which
Yes.
is an absolute
Right.
violation.
Right. What they're doing is, I feel, and Robert may agree with this, they may own a gas station like Brown's and Dade Tire, which they do the legal way. You know, if you go out there and have 4 tires put on, or at either place, Brown's or Dade Tire or down at Brian's, it's $3 a tire to dispose of it at that time, and they pay so much to dispose of it. But people don't want to pay the $3 to dispose of that, so they take them home. But I think what happened on some of these places that we have, these tires are coming out of Chattanooga, and they're paying these people $1 to dump on their property. And we have a couple of areas now where we do have a problem with people that's dump tires.
Well, it's illegal. I mean,
Yeah,
it's just.
it's illegal.
I mean,
So-
you mentioned the first thing was about the mosquitoes. A lot of people don't think of that, but 114, well, you can't buy a 14-inch tire anymore. The 16, 17, 18-inch tire laying out somewhere with an inch of water in it can breed hundreds of thousands
Yeah.
of mosquitoes. And
Well, I know it's been a problem, and the EPD has addressed it here from the state
Locally,
of Georgia, here locally. And Commissioner, one thing that you just reminded me of, it hadn't been that many years ago that we had and we still do quite a bit of problem of illegal dumping.
Yes.
You know, I remember there was some folks that it really bothered me, I guess, because of the location. They had dumped a bunch of stuff over in front of the steps of a cemetery.
Witt Cemetery.
Yeah, you remember
Cemetery,
that. And
Yeah,
I just,
and a lot of that was household where they torn up carpet, sheetrock, and they take it of all places and dump it in front of a cemetery and drive off and leave it. My son called me one night, man. He's the youngest son that lives here in the county, and he'd gone over to the creek, and he loves to fish over there, and he loves the outdoors, and he was just beside himself because he'd gone down. He had a little pickup truck and picked up, I think, 13 tires that people had thrown out in the edge of the creek. You know, and it just it doesn't make sense to me what drives a person to do that. But there's ways to get rid of them. There, and that's not the way to do it.
We know our hang gliders, they do a great service to our community. I don't know how well you know those guys, but the last tire amnesty we had I done that too. It's about 12 or 14 years ago, and they went in the creek and actually fished all these old tires out of the creek. We had people this time that went up and down the creek and all the parks areas picking up these old tires, and so it does help in our county. Like Robert says, a little bit of water is going to breed thousands of mosquitoes. And if you sit out in your front yard around here and you're close to a lake or creek or whatever, they're going to eat you up. But this alleviates a lot of the mosquitoes in our area and also gets rid of the waste. And so why people want to stack them in the yard, I really don't understand that. It's just something that happens. I can understand.
it's dangerous for them.
It is.
It is.
It is.
There was I think a law, a law. You could have 99 if you filled them with dirt to build like
Right.
a fence or
Right.
something. You could have 99 tires, but you couldn't just stack them up
No,
empty. They had to have something in
they
them
have to be
keep the
filled with
water
either
out.
with concrete or dirt. You
A lot of
can do
people
that.
use them for flowers, put them out and plant a bush in them or whatever. And but a lot of that's changed, and because of the EPD, and it's just not legal to do it anymore. And I hope that people realize that, and thank Alan here for taking that on, because it was, I'm sure for him, a long day while I was reared back in the recliner watching Gunsmoke. He's over here working.
Counting tires.
He was watching people work.
But it's a thing about it. There is no reason for there to be any garbage out in people's behind their house or where. The transfer station doesn't cost you anything to take in 9 bags and put it in there. And I've been to people's homes, and when I tell them that, they didn't realize that, and they'll clean up. But there's no reason to have all that garbage stacked around your house, especially old tires.
Commissioner, before we go to the next break, is there anything else that you wanted to bring up? Maybe something's happening with the commission, or just whatever. Just before we go to the next break, if you.
Well, I see that our superintendent's here, and she's going to be talking about some things that people don't understand. And I say, I'm not kind of like Robert said a while ago, if you don't understand it, call one of us commissioners or somebody, especially on the school board, that's involved with not necessarily the commissioner, but the school board, and let them explain to you how this is going to work. A lot of people feel that they're just taking a 65.5 out completely, but that's not how it's going to be.
Well, I think, as we said at the beginning of the program, this gives an opportunity. It was a resolution that was passed about a week ago. A lot of folks have done speculations, like unfortunately a lot of people do, but this will give an opportunity to kind of, okay, here's exactly the facts, here's how everything is going to unfold, and I think it'll clear up a lot of misconception out there.
I agree.
So I appreciate her coming on. Commissioner, good luck on your healing process.
Thank you.
And we're glad that you come on to let everybody know how you're doing, and thanks for the tires. I think that really helps a lot to be able to fix things for the county.
And we will do that again. I'm just waiting for all the grants to come in just to get finished.
All right, sounds good. We're going to take a break, and we'll continue with Around Town here on KWN. Stay with us.
Can you gig it? Oh, yes, you can. We know you've been waiting for a long time, and now Tennessee Valley Net is bringing it to you. Gigabit internet service now available in certain areas of Dade County. Not just fast, super fast internet service now available from Tennessee Valley Net. People are talking, I mean really smiling about gig speed internet available in limited areas from Tennessee Valley Net. Call today at 706-657-4367 or log on at tvn.net and see if gig speed is available where you are. We know you'll gig it from Tennessee Valley Net.
Looking around your home thinking it may be time for a new look? Let Comfort Gallery in Kimball help you make perfect choices for every room in your home. Living room, bedroom, dining room suites from all the major furniture manufacturers. If we don't have what you need in the store, browse our full-color interactive kiosk to find exactly what you need. And don't forget a new mattress set. After all, sleeping well makes everything better. At Comfort Gallery, we offer free delivery and setup, 1-year free layaway, and 6 and 12 months, same as cash. Comfort Gallery, 780 Main Street, 1 mile north of I-24, exit 152A in Kimball, Tennessee.
Hey, that cold weather is coming, and it's never too early to get your winter supplies from Rising Fawn Hardware and Supply. 4300 Highway 11 South in Rising Fawn. Everything you need to wrap pipes under the house, winterize around the doors. Make sure your outside faucets are protected, and keep those drafts from coming through the windows. Get your supplies for fall and winter for the home and farm today. Rising Fawn Hardware and Supply. 4300 Highway 11 South in Rising Fawn. Telephone 706-462-2071.
Why go online when you can have it today at Valley Liquidation Center, 321 Browns Ferry Road off I-24. We purchase truckloads of merchandise from large.com retailers and your local home remodeling stores and sell it all at 50% off retail. At Valley Liquidation Center, we have everything you need for home decor, furniture, bath, kitchen, flooring, outdoor furniture, tools, and so much more. And if you have a question, actually talk to someone in person instead of an anonymous person online or an email. Family owned and operated. Valley Liquidation Center, 321 Browns Ferry Road, Suite 125, 423-269-6444.
A time-tested financial institution equipped with the latest banking technology, the Bank of Dade, with mobile banking to fit your on-the-go lifestyle. Download our latest app today for your iPhone, Android, or tablet to bank on the go. Check your balance, pay bills, make deposits, and keep track of your account anytime and anywhere with the Bank of Dade's smartphone app. Make life easier by using today's most advanced banking technology to your advantage. Call us at 657-6842 or visit on the web at bankofdade.com. Your hometown bank since 1956, the Bank of Dade. Main offices on Highway 11 North in Trenton and drive-thrus on Highway 11 North and Highway 136 West. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Welcome back to Around Town here on KWN TV. Robert Goff along with Evan Stone. And now we welcome Dr. Jan Harris. Welcome.
Hey, Evan. Thank you for having me.
Hey, we appreciate you
Mr.
coming
Carl.
on. For those of you that don't know, Dr. Harris is our I was about to say state school superintendent, but no,
Moving on
local
up.
Dade County school superintendent. Yeah. But that would require an election. You don't want to have to do that. At this
No,
point.
I don't want to do that.
But we thank you for coming on. I know that this time last week you and I had spoke before the Board of Education, and you said wait till the resolution is passed, and then I'll come on and kind of explain it. And that's what we said at the beginning of the program. For those of you that may have heard various things, today we're going to kind of get Dr. Harris to kind of break it down and explain it. And
Sure.
I think, as the commissioner said at the beginning of the program, don't always listen to what your neighbor or somebody that knows your neighbor may have said. You need to find out exactly
Right.
what it means.
Right.
But if you read at Discover Dade, or I think the Chattanooga Times Free Press actually had a story on it, and the school board has started which started as a resolution to amend the 65 and 5 legislation for the tax exempt on senior citizens.
Correct.
Now, and for y'all to keep in mind, that's to amend it. And today we're going to kind of explain the process, because it's not just because y'all passed it the other day. You just
Right.
actually started
That's
the,
right.
the whole procedure.
That's correct. That's correct.
Tell us a little bit about
Okay.
the resolution that the school board actually passed.
Okay. On Monday, the board did approve a resolution asking the legislators to bring this issue in a referendum to the people to vote on amending the 65-5. And there are 4 parts to the resolution. And the first part is that if you're currently receiving the 65-5, then nothing changes for you. Everybody's
You would be what?
grandfathered in.
Grandfathered in.
So anybody who's getting the 65-5 exemption, everything stays the same forever. Secondly, it changes the definition of senior for those coming forward, and we're talking about, if the election is in 2020, this will probably be 2021, so couple of years down the road. Those people who would be eligible for the tax exemption would have to be 65 and have lived in Dade County and had a residence for 5 years. So that's different, because before you could be 65 and be eligible. And so now it would be you're 65, but you have lived in Dade County and had a house, a residence for 5 years. And the third part of the resolution is that the fair market value of the home is capped at $150,000, which is, according to the tax assessor's office, the average price of a home in Dade County. And then the fourth part of the resolution is that it comes back to the people. The people will decide. The school board moved it forward in the process. So Colton Moore is taking this forward to the House, and then if it passes there, then Senator Jeff Mullis is going to take it forward to the Senate. Then that will bring it back for a vote by the people of Dade County. So the people of Dade County will decide.
So the resolution that was voted on unanimously, by the way, it was a 5-0 vote by the Board of Education here in Dade County, basically starts the process that will then go through the House and the Senate onto the governor.
Right.
But they're basically just allowing it to be to put on a ballot.
Right.
I mean, they're not saying I'm for it or against it. They're saying I'm
Right.
going to let the people vote on a piece of local legislation that the
Right.
school board actually proposed.
And I can tell you, I came to Dade County in April 1st, 2016, and there have been a number of board meetings or work sessions where people spoke to the board during a meeting, before a meeting, after a meeting, and said, you need to get that on a ballot and let the people decide because it's not fair. And the way that I understand it, and of course I've been here almost 3 years now, is that the board has to have a balanced budget, which we do. We've managed the money very well. In fact, we did a rollback. The board approved a rollback to the citizens this year. So by Georgia law, the board has to have a balanced budget, and if they need more money, they raise the millage rate. So Colton Moore, when he reached out to the board, he came by, called me on a Monday. He was going to be in town. I invited 2 board members to come and meet with him to talk about this issue. And he campaigned on this because he had people, and he actually contacted me. I talked to him this morning. He said he's going to have a town hall meeting in the next few weeks just to update the citizens on everything. But anyway, he campaigned on this, and he wanted to give some of the tax dollars back to the citizens. So if the board needs a certain amount of money to make the budget work and they raise the millage rate, then that's the burden on everyone. And then if they cap that where it's more fair, then the hope would be that the millage rate would go down, and so the citizens would get to see the relief in the millage rate. That would be the hope. That's my understanding.
So on this resolution, once it gets, and it won't be voted on until probably 2020, from what I understand.
Right.
If you've already got the 65 and 5 senior exemption, you're not going to have any change. As a matter of fact, you'll be grandfathered in, so it won't affect you at all if it passes. The next thing, if it passes, it will only affect someone after they have. They can only apply after they have lived here for 5 years, and then it will cap at the first $150,000 of your home value.
Right.
So if you live in a home of $138,000, you won't pay any school tax.
Right. That's exactly right.
It would cap it up, depending on what the that is on your home, and what was the fourth thing that you said?
That it comes back as a vote.
It would have to be voted on.
So the first part is you're grandfathered in. If you're already getting it, you're over 65, you'll get it for the rest of your life. And then, unless legislators or something happens to change that, this doesn't affect that.
But it always go back to the voters. So.
Right. The second part is that the definition of senior changes to 65 and you've lived here for 5 years. So if you've lived here your whole life, then you're still going to be eligible at 65 just like before.
Won't make a change in.
Right.
And then the third part is that it's capped at $150,000. And they're actually doing some numbers for us at the tax assessor's office to see how many. When we called the other day, we were told there were 1,458 people who have that 65.5 exemption. And so to give you an idea of the dollar amount, for a $150,000 house, that's about $900 a year for taxes.
And you'd be able to exempt this under this new amended proposal.
Yes.
I guess at this point it's called a proposal because it's still got to go to the voters.
That's all
for
it
a vote.
is a proposal. And it's on down the road. It takes a while to get the wheels turning and to get things on the ballot. And I believe in a democratic society. People need to decide these type matters. And they'll get to.
Commissioner Goff over here, he and I have his thing. He often talks about an unfunded mandate. Well,
And he don't call them unfunded.
Well, here's
funded out of our
something. We're
pockets.
going to take a break, but I do want to ask you because unless you really are really wanting to understand this, there was a unintended consequence that took place. I guess that's the best way to say, when the 65 and 5 came on, that has not just put a burden on a certain percentage of the property owners, but it's also taken money away from the Dade County school system. Now, we're going to explain that coming up. We're going to take a break, and I'm going to get Dr. Harris to talk to us about equalization money, and we'll be right back. Stay with us as Around Town continues.
Georgia Northwestern Technical College is now accepting applications for classes. We offer programs in business, health, industrial, and public service at 6 campus locations with financial aid options as well. Take day, evening, or online classes to get your degree, diploma, or certificate. Apply now. Drop by one of our campuses today or check us out at gntc.edu. Georgia Northwestern Technical College. Get focused. Get hired. Have lunch or dinner at Guthrie's, home of the original Golden Fried Chicken Finger and the best chicken finger sauce in the world. Guthrie's can help you plan your family's meals or get-togethers with bucket specials every Tuesday, those delicious wings on Wednesday, and platters every day of the week. Plus, get sweet tea by the gallon. Remember, Guthrie's has a party room for small gatherings, too. Guthrie's, Highway 136 West in Trenton, home of those Golden Fried Chicken Fingers and the best chicken finger sauce in the world.
Guthrie's, not fast food, good food fast.
NL Tax and Bookkeeping is ready to serve all of your tax needs. Nancy Anderton's been serving the tri-state area since 1978. Now you can get your taxes prepared with no out-of-pocket expenses. Ask about up to a $1,200 refund advance. It's fast, easy, safe, and convenient. NL Tax and Bookkeeping is open 8:30 a.m. till 6:30 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday, and 8:30 a.m. till 2 p.m. Eastern on Saturday. Questions about the Affordable Care Act? We have those answers too, and we offer a free form price comparison. Experienced and professional tax services. NL Tax and Bookkeeping, 500 Alabama Highway 73, 7 miles from downtown Trenton. Call today at 706-657-4758 or 256-597-2829. NL Tax and Bookkeeping. 706-657-4758 or 256-597-2829.
When you need a licensed plumber, call Stacy Ledwell and the staff at Mr. Reuter in Scottsboro. Mr. Reuter provides your home or business with advanced solutions using high-tech equipment. Our commitment to customer satisfaction shines through in our personalized service. When you schedule an appointment, our professionals will dedicate time to explain the work that has to be done. Our staff will give you upfront pricing, so you'll know exactly what's involved before any work begins. We even pump septic tanks and do new construction on houses. Fully licensed, bonded, and insured, Mr. Reuter in Scottsboro. Call Stacy Ledwell today to set up an appointment at 256-574-4710.
Bingo.
And we're back with Around Town. Commissioner Goff and myself are visiting with Dr. Jan Harris, who is the superintendent here in Dade County, talking a little bit about the proposed changes in the 65 and 5. But this next thing really doesn't have anything to do with that. But, Doctor, kind of explain the tax process in the state of Georgia as it relates to schools. There is what we're calling equalization money that Dade County has enjoyed. I say enjoyed, or has received a great number of years in the past, but here in the last few years has not.
Right. And you know, the thing about taxes, it's a very complicated issue. And so it's easy to get confused and not understand what's going on when we start talking about these very complicated issues. I mean, I find it to be that way myself. But one of the things that affects schools in Georgia is what they call equalization. And it's sort of like the Robin Hood theory. You know, everybody pays 5 meals to the state, and so then the state takes that money, you know, so the richest school districts contribute the 5 meals, And so that money goes into a pot, and then the poorest school districts, they get a little extra funding from the state. And education is a state function. I mean, we get local dollars, we get state dollars, then we have some federally funded programs. So the tension between equalization money and the 65-5 is that according to the state, Dade County is actually classified as one of the richest school districts in the state because of the properties in Dade County. And so then, we don't get any money from that equalization, which in the past, before I came here, talking to the people here, we received like $1 million or so,
Sometimes
from that every year.
$1.5 million to $2 million, depending on what the digest was.
And see, we have almost 60% of our students on free and reduced lunch. So we are not a wealthy school district, but
according to the state, we're in the top 50.
That's right.
Of
And there's
159.
Yeah.
And this affects it is a big school issue because it affects the school, but it
Right.
also affects the county, and we try to get people to understand that because things that you would have gotten, you don't get now, even in the county, not just the school, just
Right.
like you're saying for the school, because now you're considered you don't really need it.
Right.
Somebody else needs it worse than you do, and people just don't realize. But when you're having $1 million homes built, that shows that people are coming in, and I don't know. I just hope people understand it. And as we said earlier, if you've got a question, call the school board member, call the central office,
That's right.
get the answers, because what y'all sent to Atlanta with Colton is going to be gone over by some of the best lawyers in the state
Right.
before it comes back to the legislation. Then you're going to have what they send back to view, and that's what you're going to go on. There's no need really of people starting rumors that are not true or will never be true, just to try to get some kind of a negative spin on this before it gets started, because it's a long process.
Right.
And I know that's what you're going to get is people are going to say, well, they're just trying to take it away. That's not true.
No.
They're trying to change it where I'll never get it. That's
No.
not true. If I were 64, I've lived here all my life, it wouldn't affect me one way or the other as far as becoming 65. But if I moved in here last year and I was turning 65 next year, now I've got to live 4 more years before I can get it. It's simple to understand when you get the facts. And so please, to the people out there, if Colton has a town hall meeting, go to it. Hear it straight from the representative. Call Colton if that, because this is a big issue, and it has been a big issue for a lot of years now, and it's taken a lot of money out of the school system. And you've got young people, as I said during the break, that are living here trying to raise their families, trying to stay in the county. Because I heard this some years ago, Dr. Harris, when this all started, let the school school board raise their millage rate. Well, if I'm 65, I don't care if you go to the 20.
Right.
You go to your 20 meals, go to the state and ask them for an extension to go higher. Because it's not going to affect me, but it's going to affect my children that are trying to raise my grandchildren here in the county that's 30 and still got 35 years before they get that. So there's a fairer way to do it than what was done in the beginning.
Right. That's exactly right. And, the school board, like, we're running the school system with the money that we have. It's not an issue. The school board is not asking for more money. This is an equity issue. And it's a complicated issue because it's easy to misunderstand, but what you said is exactly right. To my understanding, and again, I'm new, I've been here 3 years, but I've heard people over and over say, we need to vote on this. This is not right. And that's what Colton Moore told me. He said, I ran on that issue because, people want to have things like people pay their fair share.
Right.
It's not, over taxation of anybody. It's going to be the same or less for the general population if this passes in a couple of years, because the millage rate hopefully would go down. And then that's how there would be relief of that. And then the people who have a home up to $150,000 would still be exempt.
Which is most of the homes in Dade County.
which is most of the homes. And then the ones who have a more expensive home would pay a little bit more, but
Right.
they'd still be exempt for $150,000.
Only on that over 150. So if you got a $200,000 home, you're paying on $50,000, and so it's it's a lot more fair, I guess. I mean, it's fair to anybody that can get it like it is.
Right.
In my eyes, it's fair to me. But when I think about the young people trying to stay here and raise their families, and that millage rate, because you go back and calculate 10 years ago, if you had a budget in the county's case of say $800,000, now with inflation, you've got to have over $1 million to buy those same products you bought 10 years ago.
Right.
Well, that money has to come from somewhere to keep the services and the quality of life that we have, or the education, whatever it is, and all the
Right.
programs within the education. It's got to come from somewhere, and why not be a little more equal across the board? So.
I know that you said that they can contact any member of their of the school board. Of course, it's representative, just like the commission is, 5 school board members. Do you have this proposed resolution on the website yet?
It is.
Okay.
It's on the banner at the top of the website, and also some talking points that just describe. It's the actual resolution, and then the 4 points. Everybody's grandfathered in if they're currently getting it, so nothing's going to change. And the definition of 65 is 65 plus you've lived here 5 years maintaining a residence. And then it's a cap on the house that the fair market value is $150,000. And then the fourth part is that it's going to be on a ballot so the people can vote. But this is not about anybody wanting more money. This is about equity, to me, is what it's about. That's what I'm hearing from people, because the school board we've worked very hard, and we're very proud of the way that we've managed the money, and this year we've rolled back the money. This is about the way that the ad valorem taxes are distributed, and the younger people feel like it's an unfair distribution for them. Is that a good way to summarize it?
I've heard that exactly put out exactly like. Well, I think the commissioner, he just did that.
Yes.
Just that just a few minutes ago. So we wanted Dr. Harris. We thank her for coming on, kind of because to explain where you don't have to take, as Commissioner Goff said earlier, your neighbor's point of view on it or whatever. You know exactly what's going to happen, where you don't feel this is going to be just pushed on you if you're already on it or whatever. It's not going to affect somebody that's already signed up. And the ultimate thing, we're going to get to vote. The voters of Dade County will have the ultimate say on whether we want to amend it or not. You'll be able to go to the polls. It will be on the ballot. You can read exactly what it says in a couple of years and be able to vote yes or no.
Right.
So, I mean, it's probably, as things go and as things change in government, and both of y'all are very uniquely involved in both the educational system and the operation of government, we have more of a say in this, and whether there's going to be it's going to be changed or not, than really the day-to-day operations of the county commission or the board of education.
Absolutely.
So the voters have the ultimate say.
Right.
On whether we want to alter this or not. So, and of course, Dr. Harris, I know that you'd be happy to talk with anybody.
Sure, be glad to do that.
On the office.
Be informed. That is the big. Be informed with the truth. What's on when the document comes back that you'll get from Atlanta, and read it, look at it, and make your decision based on the facts that are in that document, not what I think or my neighbor thinks or whoever. And when that time comes, vote your conscience one way or the other, because it is the democratic way. That's when the democracy comes in. Under our republic, that's when the democracy comes in, and the most people win the fight. So,
Right.
Dr. Harris, we thank you very much. Is anything real quick? We got really less than a minute. Is there anything else you
Well,
want
I was just going to say, as far as the school system, business will continue as normal. It will just change the way that the tax revenue is collected, and hopefully lighten the millage rate for the general people, and while the higher amount, put in their fair share. But as far as the school system, we appreciate the support of everyone, and we are good stewards of taxpayers' dollars, and we continue that pledge not only today but in the future. So thank you so much.
And I will tell you, as a programming note, don't forget to join Reading, Writing, and Arithmetic, where you learn a lot of the things that are happening in Dade County schools every week right here on KWN. Commissioner, thank you for co-hosting.
Thank you, and that's arithmetic.
Yeah,
Not
arithmetic.
there's no A in arithmetic.
The 3 R's, right?
Yeah, the reading, writing, and
writing, and
arithmetic.
arithmetic.
That is right. And Dr. Harris, we thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
And we thank you most especially for watching another edition
Happy
of Around
Valentine's
Town.
Day.
Happy
That's right.
Valentine's. Happy Valentine's. You've been watching Around Town on KWN Community TV Channel 7. The views and opinions on tonight's program are not necessarily those of staff nor the management of KWN Community TV Channel 7 and Dade County Broadcasting Incorporated. Join us every week for another edition of Around Town on KWN TV 7.